guys! So as you can tell from the title, it's not exactly a happy story today, but a lot has been going on and it's just all too crazy. I really debated about making this video because the last thing I'm going to talk about is something really hard for me to talk about right now, and that's why it took a few days for me to come out with this video. But I just kind of want to share everything that's happened in the last month. Well, actually 2 months, but a lot has happened. Most of it didn't affect me personally, like me, myself, but it has been tough. And for those of you that follow me on Twitter or have been following me on YouTube for a while, you may know what some of these topics are about, but I'm just going to kind of summarize everything together and talk about what a crazy month it has been. And as I said, it kind of started 2 months ago, but the first thing that happened was the first typhoon that hit in September, which hit my area quite bad. Not as bad as some other areas, but it did affect us enough to where some areas in my city lost power. Our entire city lost water, and there was some damage here and there and stuff. So that was quite a mess. And it was like a big panic. And from what my friend said, who lived here her whole life, it's the first time they ever lost water because of a typhoon. Like, they've lost water many, many years ago. I think it was like 30 plus years ago or something because of an earthquake. But it's the first time they had this big of a damage for typhoon. So everyone's kind of in a panic. People weren't prepared because most times it's pretty weak in our area to where we don't get that much damage. So that was really stressful. Luckily, I only had to go about a day and a half without water. Some people, some of the other teachers at my school, went a week without water. And there was some other people within my prefecture that didn't have water for several weeks. And some even didn't have electricity for almost a month. So it was pretty bad. And then there was the big typhoon scare in October, which I did post a video about that. So if you watch my videos, you probably know about it and how it kind of affected me. But luckily my area wasn't affected too much. It did kind of move away from my area. Once it hit land, it kind of went more west. And it did weaken a bit, so it wasn't as bad as people were expecting it to be. But it was expected to be a pretty big storm, so I prepared as best as I could for that one. And I was just scared for the whole week. I was panicking because of, I guess you could say, a trauma that I've had in the past with the big hurricane I had when I was 3. But I was just in a big panic and I didn't know what to do. So for that whole week, I was just stressing, couldn't eat, and worried about it. But once it passed, it was okay. Even though the typhoon didn't hit my area too bad, there were a lot of places that were affected a lot worse. And it wasn't the typhoon itself. It was really the rain that kind of caused the most damage. And I think the death count was over 90, I believe. And last I saw, there were still people missing. But it was pretty sad. And it was a scary typhoon. And it was basically the start of October, and it already wasn't off to a good start. But a week after that typhoon, the east of Japan had really, really heavy rainfall, and it was because of torrential rains, which basically, in my opinion, it was caused by the big typhoon that was out in the ocean, and it was super far away from us. But with the low air pressure or whatever you call that, and all the weather effects, we had really bad torrential rains. And I didn't mention this in the video. I didn't post this on Twitter and stuff. So many of you probably don't know about this. But it was pretty bad. And no one expected it to be that bad. And it was a bit scary, especially because I wasn't at home in the safety of my house. I was safe at my school because I was at work. But I was worried about getting home because I have to bike home. And it's about a 30-minute bike ride. And I knew there was going to be flooding in places because it was all over the news and stuff. And basically what happened was the east of Japan, especially the prefecture I'm in, got over a month's worth of rain within 12 hours. So it was pretty bad. And it actually ended up being a lot worse than I thought, because by the time I did go home, like, there was a bit of a break in the rain, so I tried to rush home as quick as I could. But I did kind of get caught in the rain a bit, and it was so bad, like, I couldn't see in front of me. So I had to kind of, like, take my time and make sure that, you know, there's no oncoming cars or anything, and that I can get home safely. Although I was trying to get home as fast as I could because of the rain. But I went through some pretty big, I guess you could say, puddles. They weren't quite floods, but some puddle flood-ish kind of thing going on, where it was basically up to like my mid-calf, and I didn't expect it to be that deep. So like I was just biking like normally, and it came up to like a third of the height of my bike or something, to where like I was pedaling, and as I was pedaling, my feet were actually in the water. So it was bad. But then I saw videos later of my city, and it was bad enough in some areas near, like, closer to the rivers and stuff, where there was even a car stuck in the middle of the road because it got stalled in the water. And the water was, like, almost half the level of the car. So it was pretty bad. And that rainstorm caused 10 deaths, which is not a good thing. And again, it's all the rain, just like overflowed rivers and like overflowed like this and that kind of like washed people away or caused landslides, mudslides. So that again was pretty bad. And the rest of the things that happened this month is all from the K-pop world. So if you guys are all K-pop fans, I'm sure many of you know about everything. But a lot of sad things have been happening in the last couple weeks. And the first thing was, sadly, Sully's death. Please rest in peace, Sully. I wasn't necessarily a fan of hers, but I've watched dramas with her in it, and she was a really awesome person. She always tried to fight against the norm of Korea, and it's really sad how people would always attack her. And I cried when I read that news. It was shocking. Like, I couldn't believe it. I thought, like, maybe it was fake or something, but it's really sad that she had to go that way, and I wish it could have been prevented, but I'm just hoping she's happy where she is now. Then there has been several group departures, and the first two didn't really affect me too much. It's shocking. I know of the groups, I listen to their songs, but I don't stan the group, so it didn't quite affect me as it affected all the fans out there. But from the boys, which I'm sorry if I say his name wrong, like I know how to say it properly, but my Korean pronunciation isn't the best. But Hwal from the boys left his group, as well as Woojin leaving from Stray Kids, which I've listened to their songs quite a bit too. So it's really sad to see people leave groups, and I hope that they stay healthy, and I hope that they're doing well for themselves. And like I said, I don't stan their groups, so I don't have a whole lot to say about them. But of course, the next one, like, oh my god. This is the reason why I couldn't do this video any sooner, because it's just been too heartbreaking, it's been too sad, and it's been very upsetting, especially how it all started. And of course, Wonho left Monsta X. But again, Monsta X is a group, I've listened to their songs for a while and I've liked them, but I only recently started standing them to where I'm really, really into them. And you know, if you've seen my videos in the past, I went to their concert and I bought their albums, tried to go to their High Touch, which now I'm regretting even more that I couldn't go. But I spent like $200 and I still couldn't win a High Touch, sadly. And their recent comeback has actually been my first like official comeback since actually standing them, and I was really excited for it. But all this happened, and I had some issues with their albums as well, or I'm still having issues really. But once the albums that I ordered arrive, I will be doing an unboxing and I'll explain that situation to you then. But I had some situations with their albums, which I'm not too happy about, but it happened the way it happened. And actually, I had another video that I was supposed to put out, and I actually filmed it the day it was announced that he was leaving. And I was filming that, and then I talked to my friend after I went to sleep. So I actually didn't find out about him leaving until the next day. But it was really hard. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll know I've been kind of having trouble about it. I posted about it on Twitter. But I was at work when I found out, and I was like ready to just cry. But I was holding back my tears as best as I could because I'm at work. I can't just start crying. And I held it in as best I could until I got home. But once I got home, the tears came. And over the past couple of days, I debated about editing that video. But it's a really happy video, and I'm really happy in it. And I just couldn't bring myself to edit that video. And so that video I'll probably put out either later in the week or next week. But I wanted to do this little update video for you guys as well. And again, I'm sure many of you already know everything that's going on. I'm not going to get into too much details about it because we don't know what's going to happen in the future. We don't exactly know what's the truth yet and why everything is happening. But I am really angry about how it all started. Mainly because, like, I can't say it's their fault because the way it seems is there's some truth into what those two girls were saying, and if there wasn't any truth in it, there would be no reason for him to leave and for all of this news to like blow up. But they didn't have to share it to the public like how they did, and they didn't have to turn it into the big thing it is. It probably could have been handled more like quietly and stuff instead of like ruining another artist's life, because one of those girls have already ruined many other idols and even tried to ruin celebrities. And I'm not going to get into detail about them because I don't want them to get the attention they want. But the way it seems is just they want the attention. They're liking it. They're making fun of Monbebes, and it's not a happy time. Watching Monsta X perform with just 6 members has been really hard. Because you can see how much the members are struggling. And it's really sad that, like, the day after this happened, the day of this happening, they still have to perform on their music shows. And it's just not right. They need their time to rest. But I understand, like, it's their comeback. They should be enjoying it. They should be performing. But because all this had to happen, they should just be resting. But I just hope they're taking care of themselves. Really, all we can do is just wait and see how everything plays out. I'm fighting for Monbebes. I'm fighting for Wonho. Like, I do hope he comes back, because even if all the things they claim he did were true, they happened in the past. They happened years ago. Like, it shouldn't be affecting him now. Some of the stuff happened before he even became a trainee. And if the company was just going to kick him out like that, you know, if companies are going to keep doing that where they just kick out their members as soon as some sort of like scandal comes out, they should start doing like background checks or something, you know? Make sure that if they don't want these kind of problems in the future, then like they should be looking into those kind of things. Not wait for that kind of stuff to come out into the public and then just be like, oh, we didn't know, sorry, bye. Like, they can't do that. They should be held responsible. They should be taking care of their artists. The sad thing about it is that's just how it works in Korea. And after following K-pop for quite a while, I see how things play out. And basically in Korea, there's no forgiveness. There's no like, oh, you know, he changed into a better person. Like, we'll accept him. We'll give him a chance. There's no second chances. And it's really sad. It's really stupid. I can't stand it. But at the same time, I can't not love K-pop. And as I said before, I know it's not entirely the fault of those two girls. It's just they're the ones to always release things to the public and turn it into a problem that it didn't need to be. Like, I'm sure there are many, many Korean celebrities that do drugs or have done something wrong in the past, or, you know, have done many things, but people stay quiet about it because it's their life. You know, they change. People should be given second chances. And most people learn to shut their mouths about it, except for a certain someone who likes to share and gets people in trouble. But I'm really hoping that because of all this that's happening right now, things in Korea will start to change. I'm hoping. And maybe it's because I'm from the US, where these kind of things happen a lot. Drugs happen a lot. Bad things happen a lot with artists. And they may lose some popularity, but do they leave the music industry? No. That's just coming from me, being from America, where I wouldn't say it's normal, but it kind of is on the normal side. And I understand Korea is a little more conservative and they're really particular about image, but they really need to understand that people aren't perfect. People make mistakes. And people have second chances. They should be given second chances. And giving second chances doesn't mean they're forgiven for what they've done in the past. You know, that's why they need to work harder to show that they're a better person. I can understand if it's something like ongoing or something continuous, something recent, but something from 6 to 10 years ago is just, it's not right to be holding that against him. But let's hope, starting with November and with the rest of the year, things start to get better. We'll see how everything plays out. We'll see what happens in time to come. But really, right now, all we can do is fight as hard as we can and hope for the best and wait and see what is to come. But that's all I have for you guys today. It has been a crazy 2 months, really. And this was kind of a bit of a rant and a vent, and to kind of just get things off my chest. But if you have any questions, please make sure you leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!